Yo, and hello everybody, Mike here, baseball collector, and today I've got, a rare Sunday where I just don't have a whole lot going on. And so what I thought I'd do is, over the last few weeks and months, I've gotten some PSA DNA orders back with a lot of these Hall of Fame postcards, customs that we've done. And so I thought it'd be a great time to just do a showcase on these of what I have and show them off. I'm going to do them in groups of 10 because trying to put them all on a table is impossible. Here is the drawer from the Beast that goes right there that has all of the Perez-Steele Hall of Fame postcards. These are all, so you'll see all these today, just in smaller groups of 10. And so I thought I would start here. Let me just talk about these real quick in case you're unfamiliar. But the Perez-Steele Hall of Fame postcards were done in a number of series over a long time. And they just featured different Hall of Famers, numbered to 10,000 on the back. Significantly fewer of those are actually signed. And so you basically have to get all of these. None of them came signed. Like, everybody got them signed. And that was a big thing that Dick Perez told me he wanted this set to be is an autograph seekers set. So again, we'll do groups of 10. We'll start up here. The first couple are Hank Aaron. And then the first custom is right there, Roberto Alomar. So you can see the way they look different. The border on the actual Perez-Steele, Hank Aaron on the left, is a little bit thicker, but it's still the Dick Perez artwork. And we found that font to do the name. So that's a good side-by-side of the difference between the customs and the originals. But I think they all still look great. So you'll definitely be able to tell the difference. Plus, this one happens to say card. Some of them say print at the top of the flip up there. So, yeah. All right. We're going to try to go through these pretty quick. Most of y'all have seen these. I'll point out ones that are pretty tough. But Luis Aparicio, Luke Appling, and then Jeff Bagwell over here. Down here we've got Ernie Banks, Al Barlick. So I did get, like, you can see these are actually, the autograph is graded, and these are both 8s. If you can actually do this set as a set registry if you get all of the autographs graded. But honestly, I just want to have them. For me, it's not as much about having perfect ones, but having good ones. Then we have Cool Papa Bell. He's actually a pretty tough one. Was really glad to finally pick that one up not too long ago. Johnny Bench. And then, of course, the Yogi Berra that you just saw. So there's the first 10. All right, here is the next 10. We've got Craig Biggio, Burt Blyleven, Wade Boggs, and Lou Bedrew. I did switch it up. I decided to go 12 to a group now. Brett and Brock, so I can just show them 2 at a time like this. I love these, the design of these. I mean, you've got the portrait, the little black and white action shot as an inset. So there's Jim Bunning and Rod Carew, Steve Carlton and Orlando Cepeda, Happy Chandler and Jocko Conlon. Next group, Ray Dandridge, great Negro League player, Andre Dawson, Bill Dickey, 2 great Yankees here, Dickey and Joe DiMaggio. DiMaggio is not a cheap one. I've had it for a really long time. And Bobby Dorr and Dandy Don Drysdale. And here we've got Dennis Eckersley and Bob Feller, Rick Farrell and Raleigh Fingers, and then Whitey Ford and Charlie Gehringer. Next group, Bob Gibson, Pat Gillick. That was a TTM. I did not request silver paint pen, but he did put Hall of Fame inscription, so can't really complain. I think he was free, so what are you going to do? Tom Glavine, Lefty Gomez. Actually, I have 2 Lefty Gomez's. I have some dupes, but not very many anymore. And then Burley Grimes, who's actually a pretty tough one to get. So got that at the National, I think, last year. Down here, we've got Goose Gossage, the great Hank Greenberg. It's a very cool one. Both these were in person. Vlad Guerrero and Ricky Henderson. And then Billy Herman and Whitey Herzog. Norman's decided to join in the fun. Do not eat my cards, dude. Please. Okay. Watch out. Got to show some stuff. All right, next group is Hubble. Carl Hubble and Jim Catfish Hunter there. Monty Irvin and Reggie. Love his smile on that. It's fantastic. You can tell the early series from the late series of the Hall of Fame cards, they just get better looking. Like the Travis Jackson's a older one done in the early 80s, and the Jenkins is much more modern. So their printing even got, better over time. Judy Johnson, actually a tough one. Got that a few years ago at the National. Chipper Jones, I got at last year's National. Jim Cott, Al Kaline. Another great Tiger, George Kell. And then, of course, the great Harmon Killebrew. Next group is Ralph Kiner, Sandy Koufax, actually in a Beckett slab. That's the only Beckett slab I have of the Hall of Fame postcards. Again, I'm pretty slab agnostic. I'm slab-gnostic on which holder to have autographs in. I just like them to be authenticated and protected. 2 great managers, Tony La Russa, Tommy Lasorda. Then you got Bob Lemon, who was also a manager for a long time, and Negro League great Buck Leonard. Another great manager, Al Lopez. Then you see the Ted Lyons here. You can actually get the Ted Lyons signed. I don't have it yet. This one was given to me. It's a cut that has been pasted onto a Perez-Steele. I am actually not a fan of these, like literally at all. I think it's terrible, honestly. And my good friend Jake does it. So it's not he can do it. Obviously, you don't have to listen to me, but I just don't prefer them. This was given to me as a gift. But you can find Ted Lyons actually on card. It is very rare, but they do exist. So that is a placeholder for now, and I'm glad I have it. It's better than not having it. So that was given me a long time ago. Then we got Lee McPhail, and then the Mickey Mantle is just awesome. Just a great picture of the Mick. And then you got Juan Marichal and Edgar Martinez to finish out this group. All right, next up we have Eddie Matthews, Willie Mays. You may notice that Eddie Matthews looks a little bit different. That was a set that came out in 2012 called The Art of Baseball. It's done by a group called Historic Autographs. And they actually numbered these. You can see that one's numbered out of 41. They add their own border, but that's just a Hall of Fame postcard with their border added onto it. And they put, I think, something different on the back. Yeah, they cover up the back, and I don't necessarily like it, but I think when I bought it, I didn't know better. So I may end up getting an Eddie Matthews, more normal postcard. But the Willie Mays is fantastic. Bill Mazeroski, Willie McCovey, Johnny Mize and Paul Molitor, Joe Morgan, Jack Morris, 2 Mutuals that I have in my collection. Not a bad guy to have dupes of on that. And then Mike Mussina and Hal Newhouser, 2 great Hall of Fame pitchers. Next up, we have Phil Niekro, Tony Oliva. So glad I got that last year at the National and paid up for it. Just, you never know. These guys are getting older. Jim Palmer, pitcher, of course. And then you've got this card here, Perez-Steele Galleries. That is Frank and Peggy Steele and Dick Perez, the artist. So Frank and Peggy owned an art gallery, and they were the ones that kind of partnered with Dick Perez to create all of the Perez-Steele stuff that was distributed. When Frank died, I think that the partnership kind of just dissolved, which is why they don't release them anymore. Somebody with the right amount of money could re-release these. It'd be pretty cool. It ain't going to be me, but Tony Perez, continuing on, Gaylord Perry there. We've got a couple of customs here, Mike Piazza, Tim Raines, Pee Wee Reese and Jim Rice, and then Phil Rizzuto and Robin Roberts. All right, next up, we've got Brooks Robinson, Frank Robinson. I love that those two guys are next to each other. So cool, both in the Orioles caps. Then you've got Ed Roush and Nolan Ryan. Usually the player will be pictured with the team that they are inducted into the Hall of Fame with. So that's why you'll see a player that may have played for multiple teams in a certain ball cap or not. Ryan Sandberg, Mike Schmidt there, played on several all-star teams together in the late 80s. And we've got Red, John Sherholtz there, Hall of Fame executive. We've got Tom Seaver and former commissioner Bud Selig. And then rounding it out with Joe Sewell and Ted Simmons. All right, our next to last group here. We're down into the S's. Enos Slaughter, Lee Smith, Edwin Duke Snyder, and Warren Spahn. Edward Stack, who actually was the president of the Baseball Hall of Fame back in 1981 when this started, so he's part of those early series. This one's an SGC holder. And then Pops Willie Stargell. We've got Don Sutton and Bill Terry down here. A couple of modern guys, Jim Thome and Alan Trammell. And Larry Walker and Hall of Fame manager Earl Weaver. And the last group, Hoyt Wilhelm, Billy Williams there. We've got Ted Williams and Dave Winfield. And the last three, I'll just show them together. Early Wynn, Carl Yastrzemski, and Robin Yount. So that is it. That is all of them, all the way. That entire drawer of the beast is dedicated just to these postcards. I have a little room left, so hopefully can pick up some more than I need. And yeah. What do you think, Norman? Norman. Hey, you there? Say, hey, Dad, leave me alone. All right, see you guys later. Say, keep collecting, Norman. Keep collecting.